There's a lot of energy happening. And one thing that I know for sure is I reach out to Dimitri often and ask him what the heck is going on, because we feel it. And I don't know about you guys, and drop it in the comments if this makes sense to you. Yet before you even tangibly know something in your mind, you can feel it through your body. And that is what I have been feeling. And so many people reached out after your last video, Dimitri, explaining what was going on in the world. We start feeling it. And all I know is that we are feeling a lot right now. So I just gave you hosting capabilities again, so that we can talk a little bit about January 2021, because we are in it and it is happening, whether we like it or not, and it's going to be great, but there's a lot happening.
Exactly. And this month is extremely important. Here is the chart for the last, oh, sorry, that's not the one. Okay, so this is the one that we want. Okay, I'll make it a little louder here. Sorry, a little bigger. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the chart of the last new moon. The new moon happened to, like, we live in Ottawa here, Jenna and I as well. For Ottawa time, it is for Ontario time, it is happened practically at midnight. In other locations on the globe, it's in a different time. But the most important thing in this chart is you can see in the moment of the conjunction of sun and moon, which is signifying the new moon every month. Okay, so again, to just a second again to make it bigger for you. Yeah, that's the biggest I can do. So what we have here, okay, is the major constellation, which is often called by astronomers, astrologers, parade of planets. Parade of planets is when the planets are stuck in one small sector of the sky, sort of one after another, sort of in a big cluster. Okay, so what we have here is the conjunction of sun and moon that is happening in a very tight connection with Pluto in the end of Capricorn, and then this bunch of planets, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury in the beginning of Aquarius. Okay, I talked briefly in the last video with you, Jen, about the importance of the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in the Aquarius for the next 20-21 year till the next conjunction like this. Okay, for people to understand in a nutshell what this conjunction means, imagine that the world has its own eyes. Mankind focus, whatever those eyes of the world is turning, is where the focus is directed. So anything that has happened globally will be somehow focused, like serving the highlight of where that focus is. So the highlight for the next 21 year happened to be in the exact conjunction in the first degree of Aquarius. And from there on, for 200 years, every 20-21 years, the conjunction of these two major planets will be happening only in the air signs. Before, for 200 years, they were happening only in earth signs. So the big time of industrialization, or power of oligarchy, corporations, and when the profit decides everything, is over. Not that its profit is not going to be important. It will be, of course. But now, when the switch into the air happens, we enter in the new era of importance of people, so to speak. For you to understand how is that working, we have to look at the last epochs of 200 years when this sort of things happen. The last time such epoch occurred between 1225 and 1425. So it's a 13th, 14th, and beginning of 15th century. In Europe, that's the time of Renaissance. It's also the time in the world when the big empire, especially corrupted empires, started to fall down, started to be disappearing. It's the end of Byzantium. Okay, it's the end of Chinese Empire Qin. Okay, it's a Mongol invasion. It's a rebuilding of the complete new world political structures. Okay, if we go even further on back in history, when this epoch took place, it's epoch of great migration between 400 and 600 AD. Okay, well, all of these Germanic tribes moved on south, who knows the history, and started to destroy the Roman Empire. That's the end of the Roman Empire again, end of the corrupted empire. Okay, and it's when the power of the small people usually who played no importance before, suddenly become on the top of the arena. Okay, how is it going to work in this world, in our modern situation? Okay, first of all, the powers will be given from the big corporation to the small individual run businesses. This is the time we starting of the freelancer based operations. Okay, when people will be offering their services on individual basis, this is where high technology kicks in. Okay, this is when the hard work more and more is going to be done by the robots, by the electronic devices rather than people. Okay, this is the era when the technological progress is going to be behind everything, and people who are not that much familiar with technology will have to somehow to learn it, because without that they won't be able to function. Why am I saying all of this in the big picture? Is that because this new moon is the first month, big month, probably the most important in the year of 2021. Okay, because of this parade of planet, where it's going to kick big time in. How is it going to work? First of all, the conjunction of with the Pluto in the end of Capricorn means that everyone is somehow involved, heard, being touched by all of these ongoing conspiracy theories. Okay, and it's going somehow during this month to break out. The reason why I say this is right here, as you can see my cursor. This guy is in the Aquarius, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter making a very big square to these guys in Taurus, Mars, Uranus, and Black Moon. The presence of Black Moon, first of all, the square with Uranus, okay, always means a breakthrough. This is the time globally when we know for some sort of revolts, disruptions, attacks, including terrorist attacks, also go onto the square. It's when we see revolutions happening, or big big explosion somewhere. Okay, so the presence of the Mars as well there means that it's going to be pretty aggressive. The problem is that the presence of the Black Moon there can force people, as it often happens in history, to make this breakthrough, this fight, this rebellion for the human rights, or for the freedom, or for the good and righteous ideas, turn into genocide. Because Black Moon is a corrupting every effort. When Black Moon is involved, especially in the square aspects, the most aggressive aspects, it's when something that starts from the very good intention very quickly turned into something awful. Okay, and because it's all aspect in the guys in Aquarius, this Jupiter, Mercury, and Saturn conjunction, okay, it has to do again with the small people that revolt against the existing order. As I said before in the previous video, the conjunction that happened in 2020 with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn signifies the crisis of the system. Okay, now this crisis can break out. Okay, I do hope that the power of the white moon here is going to prevent the wars. Okay, because the white moon here, together with Chiron, forms the configuration that is called bisextile. It's 60 and 60 degrees here, you see, and the big trine 120 degrees on the sides. Okay, so the presence of the white moon in this configuration means that it gives to people in the world a big wake-up call. Okay, it's when the eyes suddenly open. Okay, so you realize that something has to be done. You realize that something hasn't been from the top, from the governmental level, not run properly, and you have to basically step out. But how you're going to step out, how these people are going to take control, is dependent, is very much threatened by the square. Okay, so we will see which is going to be more powerful. White moon, that is in this case is a holding factor, okay, calming factor, or the black moon, which is together with Mars, is very aggressive factor. The both are going to be present. Okay, I don't want to make right now the big predictions about how is it going to turn out. Okay, because that can be quite scandalous and controversial. But I think the people who read between the lines already understand what I mean. Okay, so yes, this month is going to be very important, and for every individual chart, everything depends on how this sector in this chart is presented in your own personal horoscope. Okay, so if it's in the first house, it's going to be, for example, the year of the big personal growth, big wake-up call, as I said. That's something that will be affecting most of people who are born with rising sign in Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay, in the beginning of Aquarius. If it's, let's say, in the 10th house, it's a big career jump. The decisions that are going to promote your status, your position, your direction in which your business, for example, works, and so on. Somehow it's going to be a revolutionary month one way or another. Okay, how it's going to unravel, we're going to see. Again, I don't want to say too much about this here. Okay, but you already kind of understood the tendencies, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay.
I think what I'm getting a lot from that too, which is really amazing, because when we have this information and whenever I hear it from you, for any of you who are watching live right now, maybe you're having some subconscious wording or thoughts that are coming up to the surface. And that's really important, because when you receive new information, your subconscious mind delivers new information to you. So I invite you this month, especially right now, to take the time to go inward. I know I say it all the time, but listen to what is being said and what is bubbling up. And even if you replay this video and just see how it feels in your body, what do you feel? Do you feel tense? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel certainty? Do you feel confusion? What do you feel? Because that is going to give you a huge indication on maybe where that focus needs to go. And kind of like what Dimitri was saying earlier about reading in general, where your attention goes, your energy starts to flow. So take this information in, allow yourself to process and integrate it, and see what feels right for you, and take action on that. This is our lives, and we're each going to respond very individually. Yet, if we can acquire information, choose what resonates with us, and continue to move forward, I mean, we're all in a better place. And if you feel that maybe you want to have more information, you want to understand how these aspects impact your life individually, how it impacts your work, your career, your family, everything, there are resources out there, just like Dimitri, where you can have that one-on-one attention and information to make bigger and better decisions for your life. Because one thing that I think I can say with a lot of certainty is things are changing, and they are changing in big ways. And we have the opportunity to change with them right now, if we choose. We all have choice.
I wanted to add a little bit on this chart that I just was talking about. It's very important for people to understand the meaning of the presence of the black moon in the square that I just noticed, that Chaz was talking about. The conjunction of the black moon with any planet is always corrupting that planet. The square of the Mars always, especially square between Mars and Saturn, always means the time of fight. But the presence of the black moon here says that we will not be able to identify the enemy properly. And that is the biggest concern for this month for everyone. Okay? Whom we address our aggression towards might not be the actual enemy. And this is the most important thing to remember during this month. It would be great if white moon is actually stronger here, which will be determined from place to place, from individual to individual. Again, depends on how much his soul progressed, so how much he can define for himself, white from black. But generally speaking, it's the month of breakthrough on the fake purpose. It's the month when these conspiracy theories that run everywhere, and you can see it on the internet and so on, might be pointing out to you their own enemy and motivating you to fight their own enemy. Okay, so the worst outcome of this month can happen is that when something terrible has happened, and then people suddenly realize, what have I done? And that
Absolutely.
is something to be aware of. You have to think, in ideal, this is not the month to act yet, because black moon with Mars and Uranus will provoke for the fast action. Take the time to reflect before you act. This month, it's extremely important, because the first information that will be coming to you, chances are, is going to be fake. Okay? Reflect, research, Think about it, exercise the maximum prudency. And this is the meaning of this trine between white moon, Chiron, and bisextile towards these guys here, Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter in the center of it. The key for the right decision here is prudency. Exercise prudency before you start acting on the impulse. Every impulsive behavior during this month is going to turn out to a catastrophic.
It's massive.
Okay, that's the main message that I want to give based on this chart.
It's so powerful, Dimitri, and I appreciate that, because I think when we've been very unsettled. You know, we're going into, for those of you who are living in Ontario or different parts of Canada, we're in a state of emergency, and we're going into another lockdown, and so people are feeling very frustrated. People are feeling a lot of anger, different emotions that are running through you, and that is when we make impulsive, drastic, unplanned decisions. And so thank you for mentioning that. And it goes back to get really comfortable with yourself and what you're feeling. Get to know your own emotions. Start creating pauses and silence and introspection more than ever, because it will pay off. And for all of you out there who joined us live, thank you so much. I started seeing all the comments coming through on the live feed, so I will get back to them. And Dimitri, anyone who has questions, again, please, I will send you his email. You can book with him directly. He's doing all of his readings right now via Zoom. I just had one yesterday. It's fabulous. So please do reach out, and we will be back to answer more questions. Now more than ever, I'm just so blessed to have you in my life and to share your information with the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back on.
Yes, we will. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.